Hello and welcome. I'm Pallavi Sharma and you're watching BIZWORLD Weekly, a show that brings you top stories of the week you probably missed out on. Let's begin with the market check. Markets extended gains for the fifth day of the week. Sensex was up 0.73% at 76,905.5 points and Nifty was up 0.69% at 23,350.4 points. Top gainers on Nifty were BPCL, ONGC, SBI Life Insurance, NTPC and Coal India, while top losers were Hindalco, Wipro, Trent, Infosys and Tata Steel. BSE mid-cap and small-cap indices added 1 to 2%. Except consumer durables and metals, all sectoral indices ended in green. Rupee posted its biggest day against the dollar in more than a month. It ended 85.97 against US dollar and gained 1.2% in the week. This week, the gold prices hit an all-time high, nearing 90,000 rupees per 10 grams in India, and globally the market cap breached $20 trillion for the first time. The $3,000 per ounce mark was also breached in international markets, driven by a weaker US dollar, escalating geopolitical concerns and cautious investor sentiment ahead of key economic policy decisions. The dollar index has slipped to 5-month lows, making gold more attractive. Central banks have also been buying gold and have bought more gold over the last 3 years than in the preceding 6 years. From the Middle East conflicts and US-Iran friction to the Fed's much-awaited policy stance, global markets are literally on the edge. Investors are turning to gold as a safe haven, but how safe is gold now? Should you buy at current levels or are you late to the party? Gold has seen a strong rally this year, surging 16% year-to-date, while Nifty 50 is down 2.54% year-to-date. However, since the prices are breaking record highs, gold ETFs witnessed a decline of 47.22% in monthly inflows in February versus in January. In January, the inflow was at 3,751 crore rupees, which was the highest monthly inflow in the category, and it slipped in February. And the decline was attributed to profit booking. So many investors are now selling gold. Should you sell too? Well, experts warn that gold rally may slow as diplomatic talks stabilize markets and inflation remains in check. A strong dollar and uncertain Fed rates could also cap prices. They say that gold's near-term risk to return payoff is not very much in its favor. They also say that gold might be overvalued than equity at present, and they say that equity might outpace gold in the next 3 years. However, historically, gold has outperformed markets across the globe in developing and emerging countries over 25 years. India remains an outlier in this case and the only outlier in this case. So experts say that investors should be cautious. Gold plays a key role in any investor's portfolio and its role extends beyond diversification. It's a hedge against inflation, provides stability and delivers long-term capital appreciation, making it a strategic choice. As per experts, an allocation of up to 20% in your portfolio enhances returns, but beyond this, the benefits start to decline. Portfolios with 80:20 splits of equity and gold have historically provided higher risk-adjusted return than portfolios that are heavily invested in gold. Gold works best as a hedge rather than a primary investment as per experts. So make your choice and invest as you like. In India, the Karnataka State Assembly has passed a resolution. It has rejected the centre's controversial Waqf Amendment Bill of 2024. It is calling it an attack on federal structure and as being against the principles of equality, equity and parity. The Law and Parliamentary Affairs Minister H.K. Patil moved 2 resolutions, one urging centre to withdraw the Waqf Amendment Bill of 2024 and another to earmark a dedicated budget for SC/ST welfare. It is being a long debate on Waqf bill. Members of All India Muslim Personal Law Board gathered at Delhi's Jantar Mantar to stage a protest against the bill, calling it a direct attack on Muslims on March 17. The bill was cleared by the cabinet and is said to be introduced in the parliament on April 1st, as per reports. But what is this bill and why is it stirring controversies across the country? Now, the Waqf bill seeks to revise the Waqf Act of 1995 for more accountability and transparency in functioning of the Waqf boards and mandating inclusion of women in these bodies. Waqf means endowment in Arabic, and it refers to personal property donated by Muslims for religious, charitable or private purposes. Once declared as Waqf, the property is considered to be owned by God and the character cannot be reversed. The law mandates the appointment of a survey commissioner to compile a list of Waqf properties, conduct investigations, summon witnesses, and requisition of public documents. It also includes provisions to protect Waqf properties from encroachment. Amendments to this law were made in 2013, which further reinforced these protections. Now, the changes proposed are renaming the Waqf Act to Unified Waqf Management, Empowerment, Efficiency and Development Act of 1995. With this, the government wants to modernize the management of Waqf properties. The bill adds provisions like only lawful property owners can create Waqf to eradicate disputes. Government properties identified or declared as Waqf before or after the commencement of this act shall not be deemed to be a Waqf property. It says disputes over whether the land is government's or Waqf's will be resolved by the district collectors, not by the Waqf tribunals. It removes the concept of Waqf by use. As of now, properties used for religious purposes continuously can be considered as Waqf without any formal documentation. But the bill requires official deeds or Waqfnamas for these properties to be recognized as Waqf. Bill also says that the Waqf board should allow appointment of non-Muslim CEOs and include at least 2 non-Muslim members in each state Waqf boards. Now, the Lok Sabha had earlier asked a joint parliamentary committee or JPC to review this bill. The bill has been a controversial one from the start because the bill is said to have eradicated or evaded all changes and suggestions from the opposition. Critiques of the bill say that the government is making serious amendments to a law concerning the faith of Muslims without consulting the stakeholders. They say that it is against Islam and it is an attempt to target Waqf property and is a violation of minority rights and enhances Islamophobia. As for some critiques, the bill challenges the very structure of Indian secularism. Supporters argue that the amendments are essential to modernize the Waqf governance framework and ensure transparency. Long-standing issues of encroachment and misuse of Waqf properties can be addressed by this, is what the supporters are saying. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments. Moving to America, Trump has taken a major step yet again and has signed an order to dismantle the Department of Education, the whole Federal Department of Education. On March 20, he signed this order that calls for reducing the size of the department and returning control over education to state and local authorities. This is a part of another cost-cutting strategy that Trump has been on about, and his broader campaign promise to dismantle the department, which has sparked a debate before and now too. Trump has consistently criticized the education department as inefficient and laden with liberal ideology. Trump has in the past blamed the department for poor academic performance and excessive federal intervention in local education systems. He, however, lacks support to fully eliminate the department without congressional action, but the order he signed directs the Education Secretary to take all steps to close down the department. The essential functions like Title I funding for low-income schools, Pell Grants and services for children with disabilities will be functioning though. The order also does not provide any information on how the transition will be carried out. It does not clarify the fate of some key responsibilities like $1.6 trillion student loan portfolio that is currently managed by the Department of Education. Trump has already cut nearly half of the department's workforce. This has ignited a debate for obvious reasons. While the Republicans are cheering the shift of power to state, Democrats are warning of disastrous consequences. Supporters have said that the department wastes taxpayers' money and oversteps its role. The critics say that dismantling the department would deepen inequalities in American education system when every state will have the authority over it. Education experts have also questioned if the action would improve schools or will create a confusion and disruption in an already strained system. Imagine this, a different education system in every state. It might create a lot of confusion if it goes to that extent. Also, the future of federal education funding and oversight is also being questioned here. Federal funding makes up around 14% of public school budget, and the impact on federal student loan portfolio is also not cleared out in the order. While the order is giving states more flexibility, because if conservatives push for block grants, states can use federal funding the way they want to. But it also raises fears that essential programs and protections for vulnerable students could also be eliminated or weakened. It also might cause legal problems for the president if the matter goes to court. And there are high chances because some group are labeling the executive order a power grab. Can you boycott the world's largest economy? Europe and Canada are doing so. A movement to boycott American goods has gained popularity in Europe after it started in Canada. People on social media are showing their discontent and seeking alternatives of US goods as per a report. An AP report says that Google Trends revealed a rise in words like boycott USA and boycott America after Trump announced new tariffs, with top regions like Denmark, Canada, and France leading the way. In Denmark, the reaction has hit shelves of supermarkets. The Salling Group, one of Denmark's biggest supermarket chain, has moved to satisfy customer demand by introducing a star-shaped logo to designate European-produced items. It denies that it is a part of the boycott but wants to help customers differentiate easily. People are now also monetizing the protest. Apps have come up to help people scan a product and determine if it is made in Europe or elsewhere. In Denmark, a Facebook group called Boycott USA or Boycott Products from USA has attracted over 80,000 members. Even in France, protests are emerging, with one Facebook page, Boycott USA, by French and European, has swiftly gained more than 20,000 members in just 2 weeks. As per the creator of the page, who is a northern French farmer, he said that boycott of American goods is a good way to show opposition to Trump's commercial and ideological war against Europe. Ironic, isn't it? These protesters are using an American social media platform to protest against American president's administration and boycotting American goods. Jokes aside, one particular brand suffers the most though: Tesla. Elon Musk is Trump's advisor, and now his company is facing the heat in America and elsewhere too. In Europe, Tesla's sales went down in January by 45% versus in January last year. Throughout 2024, the sales fell 13% across European Union. As per an AP report, one customer said that he would buy a European car model even if it costs him 150,000 euros more. And then there are violent protests, Teslas being burnt and vandalized in Germany. On April 2, reciprocal tariffs come into effect. The anger against US might just be on the roof, but what is the impact of this boycott? Experts say not much from just these parts. If it accelerates, goes to other countries, American manufacturers may have to look for alternative manufacturing hubs to sell their product and rebrand themselves. But experts say that this will not have a huge impact on export profits or policy making. But let's see what happens on April 2nd, because the world is watching. Denmark is leading the Boycott US products movement, and it makes sense. Why? Because Trump wants Greenland. Trump has openly said that he wants to expand the US territory, and he has expressed his interest to take control over Canada, the Gulf of Mexico, and now even Greenland. And he has asked for help from NATO. He said that he wants Greenland and NATO can make it happen because US needs it for national security. Listen in.
We really need it for national security. I think that's why NATO might have to get involved in a way, because we really need Greenland for national security. It's very important.
Ironically, NATO is an organization which the US, Canada, and Denmark, all three are part of. And the motto is to stay united, and an attack on one country is an attack on NATO. So everyone will defend the NATO member. Now, Trump wants Greenland, which is an attack on Denmark, which is also a NATO member. So this attack on NATO by NATO. Sounds weird, right? And as expected, NATO chief Mark Rutte wants to keep the organization away from the bizarre demand. Well, so the anger of the people seems to be justified, both in Denmark and Canada, because Trump also wants Canada. He said that it is the 51st state and called the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau a governor. Well, this is not new though. America has a history of expansion. Let me take you through a timeline. Since it got independence from the British in 1776, it has in 1803 bought Louisiana from France for $15 million. Then in 1845, it annexed Texas from Mexico. In 1846, it captured Oregon from British. In 1867, it purchased Alaska from Puerto Rico and Guam, and later it took control of Hawaii too. In 1902, the US purchased the construction rights in Panama Canal from a French company, but in 1903, the US president intervened in Panama and made it an independent country, then took Panama on lease for an annual rent, taking control over the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. In 1999, the US gave it back to Panama, but it still is used for American interest. Now Donald Trump wants Panama Canal too. So it is not new. Trump is just doing what America has been doing for years, just openly. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. The Middle East war is back. The US is now attacking the Houthis. Trump said that Iran will face dire consequences unless Houthi attacks stop, and then he launched relentless airstrikes on Yemen's Houthis this week. And the strikes did not stop. Trump then warned that the Iran-backed militant group will be completely annihilated by the US military strikes, and warned Iran to immediately stop supplying it with military equipment and general support, and said that let Houthis fight it out themselves in his remarks on social media. The group said it would resume attacks as truce talks faltered and Israel blocked humanitarian aid from entering Gaza this month and attacked Gaza again. Post that, Trump ordered the military to launch airstrikes against the Houthis, and the defense secretary said that the attacks on American ships and aircrafts will not be tolerated. What suddenly sparked this? Well, Trump might also be giving an indirect message to Iran, which refused to come at the negotiating table with him over the nuclear program. Now, this is heightened tensions in the Middle East, and the target is Red Sea, the place where most of the commercial vessels pass through, carrying various goods exported and imported by countries across the world. And a war in the Red Sea again is not a good sign, even economically, because it involves the US directly this time. The impact will be on trade, oil, and gold. Oil prices rose on Monday after the escalation of the war. However, later when the peace talks between Russia and Ukraine took place, it eased a little bit. But for how long? If prices increase again, it will impact India and China because these are the largest buyers of oil. Supply chain disruption is another key concern. The Suez Canal is of strategic and geopolitical importance because of the route. It is a popular way to ship goods all over the world. Now, US wants Houthis to clear the route for trade to facilitate. But until then, the traders would want to avoid the world's largest shipping route to transport goods. This will increase costs, shipping time by around 14 days. As per a report, last year's Houthis attacks caused 66% reduction in Suez Canal and companies took a detour. So the businesses of companies will be impacted, and this might increase the concerns of inflation like what happened last year. Taking a detour means late supplies of equipment and low supply. And lastly, wars are expensive, and this time the US is initiating it by itself. Amid worries of sweeping tariffs by Trump, the consumer sentiment plunged to 2.5-year low in March, and inflation concerns are also back on the table. The US has exceeded its debt ceiling previously, and a war like this will cost the US more, and that means more debt too. So this power show might cost the US more, and the dollar might suffer too. Elon Musk had launched the world's smartest AI recently, but its smartness is not what it's becoming famous for. Users of X are having a field day, and Grok is the one that's leading it. It has tickled many a fancy with its responses about all things India. It started trending on X in India a few days back, and Indians said that they are loving it. But Indian government is not having so much fun. As per reports, Center has contacted X to flag concerns with Grok's responses, seeking explanations on responses that are being generated by the AI model and the data that is being fed to this AI model to train it. For context, Grok is Musk's answer to Google, OpenAI and other AI models, and the recent one is Grok 3, which was launched in February. Musk claimed it to be the smartest AI on the planet. It can be accessed as a standalone mobile app and on X. Musk also said that don't use this AI if you hate humor because it is designed to have a rebellious streak. So when asked about the biggest disinformation spreader on X, it named Elon Musk. Grok is being used by people to generate responses on social, political and current issues, and that's where the problems arise because its answers were unfiltered and unhinged. It's using abusive language, and some are finding it funny, but some are not. AI researcher Rayleigh Goodside posted a video on how modes and personalities work with Grok. It has an unhinged mode where it can use curse language and yell at you, talk to you in a sexy way, and it can scream louder than any AI. It can clone any personality. Grok 3 learns different slangs and styles due to its adaptive language model. It speaks this way by analyzing all the data it stores from X questions and responses to app questions and responses. So the comments slipped in very fast as they could, and Snapdeal founder says that given the kind of abuse, foul language and controversial political responses it gives, the end of Grok in India is much sooner than later. While some have said that it is unbiased and is not controlled by any entity except Elon Musk's X, and is free speech is what it is believing in. But how free is free speech? Because the responses are public. If you talk to it on X, it replies on X for the entire world to see. Is it okay to use abusive language in the name of free speech on a public platform or give controversial political replies? Maybe not, so regulations are key, especially in this era where AI is rapidly expanding. There has to be a limit. It's fine till it's all fun and laughter, but who would you blame if it stirs controversy that leads to violence in future? Maybe use your own brain before trusting AI, because AI can be wrong most of the times. ChatGPT has been found agreeing with incorrect statements between 4.8% to 26% of the time, depending on the statement category as per research. So don't trust AI blindly and use your brain. X has also sued Indian government for unlawful censorship. It says that the Indian government has given the power of censorship to multiple authorities like the center, state, and hundreds and thousands of police officers who are allowed to initiate takedown of posts. That's a separate story though. You can watch the whole video on this story on our YouTube channel. Link is in the description. China's BYD is making headlines. The EV maker saw its market cap surge to almost $162 billion on March 18 after it unveiled a new battery and a charging system that charges as fast as refueling a conventional car. The surge in BYD's stock has now pushed its market cap beyond the combined value of India's top 5 automakers. Maruti Suzuki's market cap was at $42.5 billion on March 18, followed by the second largest player M&M, and Tata Motors valued at $40 billion and $32.8 billion, Bajaj Auto and Eicher Motors at $24.2 billion and $16.1 billion. On March 18, the shares of BYD surged 6%, bringing its year-to-date gains to 36%, and in US terms, the company's market cap has jumped 48%. Indian top 5 automakers saw a decline of 6% combined in the same period. Not only the Indian car makers, but BYD has surpassed combined market cap of Ford, General Motors and Volkswagen as per Bloomberg data. Experts say that the rally could gain further momentum from the launch of its new EV supercharging platform, which can deliver 400 kilometers driving range in just 5 minutes. The gap in market cap has narrowed with rival Tesla too. Tesla's shipments to China dropped 49% year-on-year in February, and BYD stood at 1/5 of Tesla's market cap on March 18. Analysts also remain bullish on BYD, recommending a buy rating. 44 out of 47 analysts have recommended a buy on the stock. So while India's growth story has hit a speed breaker, now China's tech-driven rally is what people are watching out for. China's rally started after DeepSeek came out in January, attracting global attention. Now a low-cost AI that compares with ChatGPT was something that was impressive for the world to watch. FIIs are now selling in India because corporate earnings have dropped. Global asset managers are trimming India exposure and are increasing China bets. The latest Bank of America Asia Fund Manager survey says China is now the second most preferred market after Japan in Asia, and India stands alongside Indonesia and South Korea now. So what's next? Well, some analysts say that while FIIs will be ultimately returning to India given its solid fundamentals, the near-term view is subdued. As for China, pro-growth policies, AI breakthroughs, and EV dominance keeps luring global investors, and India is facing a challenge to regain investor favor. How much can a missing letter cost you? Nothing? Well, it costed HAL a sum of 55 lakh rupees. Cybercrime rate is increasing in India, and this time a well-known company, a public sector company, has been hit with it. As per reports, HAL, which manufactures aircraft parts, has been duped of 55 lakh rupees. Multiple reports suggest that the perpetrators swindled the money from HAL during a transaction meant for purchasing aircraft components from an American company. But how did this even happen? In 2024, HAL was in negotiations with US-based firm PS Engineering for aircraft parts. On May 3, HAL had requested a quotation for 3 specific components. The official correspondence was conducted via a legitimate email ID, which spelled gleddbetter@psengineering.com. However, the cyber criminals, who had likely been monitoring the email exchange, created a fake ID with just a missing letter E in engineering. The fraudsters posted as vendor, provided altered bank details, and convinced HAL Kanpur to transfer an amount, a sum of $63,405. Now this went to the wrong account, and before anyone realized it was a fraud, it was done. But it came to light after PS Engineering confirmed HAL that it did not receive any payment. HAL officials then reviewed their transactions and details and found that the fake email ID was used here. Following this, the additional general manager of HAL Kanpur filed an FIR at the cyber police station, setting off an official investigation. As per officials, cyber criminals may have hacked HAL's email servers or intercepted communications to execute this fraud. Police now is roping in cybersecurity experts from IIT Kanpur to trace the origins of the email and track down the fraudsters. Well, cyber criminals are now becoming smarter in India in FY24 itself. Cases reported were 2,92,800 and money lost was 2,055 crore rupees. Maharashtra accounts for 1/4 of the amount lost owing to cyber fraud in India, followed by Tamil Nadu. From digital arrest scams to wedding card scams, now even without sharing your OTP, you can be duped of lakhs of rupees. So imagine if a big company like HAL fell for it, a fake email ID, how smart these fraudsters can be. So beware and don't trust anything and anyone when you get a message or a call. If you fall in such a trap, report it to the cybercrime portal online or call 1930 to report a cyber financial fraud.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.